Shalom, everybody. This is Bishop Foreman, excited to bring you another Relationship Revolution tip. Make sure you stop by the Harvest Christian Center online bookstore, harvestcc.me or bishopforeman.com, or you can come to the Aurora Campus bookstore. Get your hands on the original teachings. We did one originally in 2011, but the content is so powerful. We did another one in 2014, Relationship Revolution series. Make sure you avail yourself to that. I want to share a quick tip with you today. A relationship revolution, a relationship is just an interaction between one or more people. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could just an interaction between one person and another person, or one organization and another organization, or one person and an organization. It's just an interaction. A revolution is a sudden and drastic change. So relationship revolution is a sudden and drastic change in the way we relate to one another. The tip I want to share today with you is based off of a message we did in the 2014 version called Boomerang. I taught about boomerangs and how boomerangs really, to make it real simple, really deals with sowing what it is that you want to reap. So many times in relationships, because we experienced bad things in the past, that we sow bad things now, hoping that somehow sowing something bad is going to produce something good, but that's not the way it works. It's boomerang. And I talked about even the movie that came out in the early 90s called Boomerang, about how a character played by Eddie Murphy, how he was, a womanizer and all these things, and he was used to getting his way, and then all of a sudden somebody came along to do it the same thing to him, and he didn't really know how to handle it. And so the reality is that sometimes in relationships, we've got to understand the importance of sowing what it is that we want to reap. And I was thinking about this. I was having a conversation with my good friend Bishop Bright, my spiritual son and daughters. Many of them call him Uncle Bright, but I was having a good conversation with him. We were talking about a mutual friend of ours, mutual pastor friend of ours, that through the years of me knowing him, there were some things that would happen. I was like, man, that is not cool. That's not okay. That's not going to work. That's not all right. And so, but I would have these conversations, and then it would seem that improvement was being made. And long and short of it is, not that long ago, the individual did something, and I just thought, you got to be joking. Now, you got to be kidding. That's a man of God, so I'm not going to say anything negative in a public setting like that, but just simply to say this, is that at the end of the day, I thought to myself, this is unbelievable. And I said, why? How do you treat people? How do you do this to people? I said, I just don't understand how you would do something. How do you do this to people? And the reality is this: I got angry, I got frustrated, I got mad. The reality is I had to sit back and say to myself, you know what? At the end of the day, some people, because they've had so many bad past experiences, that they sow bad things now. And they don't realize that it's a boomerang. It's going to come back. You're going to reap that. And when you reap that, it's going to always be worse than when you first put it out there. So today's relationship tip is sow what it is that you want to reap when you're interacting with people. You want people to be kind to you, be kind to them. You don't want people to lie to you, don't lie to them. You want people to be honest with you, be honest with them. You want people to bring out the best in you, bring out the best in other people, because you have to sow what it is that you want to reap. Often, because we've had bad past experiences, we are reaping bad, so we're sowing bad, but then that's only going to cause us to reap more bad. Don't do that. Break the cycle. Have a relationship revolution. And guess what? It starts with a conversation. Every revolution that's ever begun, just a drastic change, has always begun with a conversation. Think of it. Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement, there's so many great civil rights leaders started with a conversation. The more recent Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, and the variety of movements that are taking place in our nation today to bring about awareness and change, all started with conversations. The first conversation you've got to have today with yourself is this conversation: is, am I sowing what it is that I want to reap in relationships? Because the question becomes, can people change? Well, people can't change if people don't change their seed. But people can't change their seed if people don't first realize there's a need to change the seed. Does that make sense? Get the series, Relationship Revolution. It's going to help you. And listen, just realize that sometimes you're going to have people that you're going to sow into, and you're going to do nice things for, and you're going to be kind to, and they're not going to reciprocate. And you might get angry. You might think, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to be kind again. I'm not going to be patient again. And the reality is, if you sow bad, you're going to reap bad. If you sow good, you're going to reap good. But don't always expect to necessarily reap it from who you sowed it to. People have hurt you. Forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive them, and keep it moving. Here's the trick. Once you discover what they were, much like the friend I was just talking about, once you discover what they are, then here's what it becomes incumbent upon you to do, to then deal with them accordingly. You discover somebody can't be trusted, don't trust them. You discover you've got somebody in your life that's a liar, don't trust them. Because now you know what they are. You got to deal with them accordingly. That's this week's tip. See you next week. Have a great week, everybody.